I wanted to make this kind of video because when I found out about Gilbert syndrome for me, I realized that there was absolutely no information whatsoever. Even though you could go on the internet, search on YouTube, things like this, you could find little bits and pieces, but much more about the condition itself, the genetism of it, nothing really about symptoms or anything like that. Really just saying what the doctors tell you, that it's benign. The issue with that is it is not benign, and I can say that because I'm part of that family. It is an everyday struggle. It's something that is not easy to go with because of the symptoms. So that's what the doctors don't tell you. When I was young, I really didn't know that I was touched by a condition. My parents tried to find out why my belly would hurt and my head would hurt and I couldn't sleep. Sometimes I would throw up at night. Basically, after time, I found out that drinking milk, it's not like the thing you need to do when you have Gilbert syndrome. So there's a lot of things to watch out about what you're eating, what you're drinking, and you wouldn't know that as a child, especially if your parents have no idea what is your condition. They did take me to doctors, but doctors would say, obviously they would say that it was due to stress and that I was just a weird child. So pretty awesome. At some point, I started growing up, being a teenager, more and more symptoms were coming up. Pain, I started getting my periods and it was getting even worse. The symptoms were getting really worse. They were amplifying somehow. And I had no idea still what was happening, and I still thought it was due to the stress that my parents and the doctors told me I had. So it was not an easy thing to grow up with, especially when people tell you that it's all in your head. A big symptom of Gilbert syndrome is that your bilirubin is building up in your body, and it will give you this yellowing taint of eyes. At that stage, I was starting to do a lot of makeup because I thought my face was really pale, that my complexion was not like really attractive for myself, and it actually was a symptom of Gilbert syndrome as well. But I didn't know that at that point. So growing up, it started arriving little by little, and for me it was kind of almost as it was normal, because I think it appeared really around 17, 19, a bit before, maybe 16, 15 years old actually. And I didn't really realize this because I was not really looking at my eyes all the time, and I was not in a state of mind. I didn't have a lot of knowledge. People starting to find out that something was a bit wrong. They would tell me that not the color of my eyes really, but more that I looked tired or I looked sad. Even the days I would wake up being so energized, people would still look at me and be like, "Oh, Leslie, you look so tired, like you didn't sleep." And that was pretty hard to grow up like that because I still didn't know what I was all about. So I started feeling different. I started feeling tired as well. I was not like lazy or anything, but just tired. I didn't want to get out of my bed. 7 hours of sleep were never enough. I had a lot of anxiety. It was hard. I had children telling me that I looked like an alien because of my yellow eyes and stuff. It's still not easy to live with, but it's something like we have to deal with apparently, because we don't really have a choice according to our awesome doctors. Growing up like this was complicated. When I started getting tests being done, and then I would see like everything was negative, all of the HIV, hepatitis, everything you could look for, I was doing it every time. I think in total right now I had like 7 or 8 like this, and then I started doing them when I was 18 years old. I say that because one day I woke up, I was in the kitchen and no makeup, so my dad looked at me and he was really worried. He looked at me, at my skin and my eyes, and he told me, no, this is really weird, you need to go and do some tests because I think there's something wrong. He wouldn't tell the word, but everyone knows that if you look at someone in their eyes and the eyes have this yellowish tint, then it could be hepatitis. So that's why people are really scared when they see you sometimes as a Gilbert syndrome person and they don't know about it. But yeah, definitely my dad was scared and I told him, no, look, like this is all of my tests. It's been like 3 years I'm doing them and it's been more than 3 years that my eyes look like this. So this ain't it. It's pretty hard to being looked like you're so sick when you feel sick and nothing is wrong with you. Of course my doctors always looked at me being like, no, you have nothing, look at your test, no, it's all good, don't worry about it. But of course I was worried about it. I wanted it to change. I thought, wow, what is happening? What can I do? Should I eat more white food? Or I was getting crazy up there and super anxious about it. 4 years ago, after all of the pain, all of the vomiting, all of the stress, the anxiety, all of the drinking alcohol and feeling like I was gonna die. Like literally, like you guys all do that. You drink alcohol and the day after you really think you're gonna die. But this is nothing compared to having Gilbert syndrome and consuming alcohol. Consuming alcohol is something you shouldn't do if you have Gilbert syndrome, by the way. I completely stopped it. I know it's hard, but it's something you really need to stop if you want to have improvements. And as of today, my belly don't hurt anymore because of all of the diet I'm following, the things I'm eating, compliments I'm taking. There's a whole sphere that you need to respect in order for Gilbert syndrome not to wake up too much and worsen up your life. This one day when I saw another doctor, he actually had a look at all of my previous results, etc. And he thought about it, he was like, no, you're all good. So second doctor telling me that I'm all good, that I don't need anything, it's fine. Never mentioned Gilbert syndrome, obviously. So instead of telling me, oh, you have Gilbert syndrome, you should do this and that, you shouldn't eat this and that, try to be careful, and then the headaches will stop, your belly will feel better, things like this. But obviously they wouldn't tell me about it. And so I started really going on Google and having a bit more of a look into it. And then I found out that actually when you're in medicine school, you learn that one of the things that gives this yellowish of the eyes as well can be a genetic condition. You have Crigler-Nigger, you have Dehydration syndrome as well, and then you have Gilbert syndrome. So generally Crigler-Nigger will be found, or Dehydration, when you're a child. And Gilbert syndrome definitely arrives around 20-year-old or a bit before. I will make a video about the differences for people who are wondering about it. But then discovering that, first of all, I was super upset at my doctors, and also I was happy that finally I found a solution, kind of. But then I found out there was no treatment, so this made me pretty sad. I went to another doctor and told him about it. He told me he was gonna do all of the tests to find out if yes or no I had Gilbert syndrome. This was Gilbert syndrome, definitely. So the thing you need to check on your blood test, so definitely having all of the basic blood tests, I would say, being negative. And then when you do liver function tests, so you're gonna have a lot of things on the liver function test. You're gonna have AST and ALT. These two need to be in a normal range. As everything else, the only thing that would be a bit higher would be the bilirubin levels. It's in your body and basically in your liver. you have all of these organisms that are functioning in order to kill the toxins. So not really kill them, but send them away. Not to say in the toilets. But yeah, they work in this condition. And then there's this gene over here, H1 something. But this gene will get that function of eliminating the bilirubin. So basically you have the bilirubin that is getting in the liver, that is unconjugated, and it's colored, so it's kind of a yellowish, brownish tint. This little unconjugated bilirubin will go down there in the liver and will then become conjugated because of the action of that particular recipient. And the thing is, when you have Gilbert syndrome, your genes are made so in a way this particular recipient is gonna be way too small to handle all of the toxins and all of the unconjugated bilirubin that is getting in there. So it can't turn into conjugated bilirubin. So it can't extract it from your body. So basically it's just gonna stay there and stay in your body and get in your blood, and gives you all of these awesome toxins that are gonna involve all of the symptoms. It's really also gonna affect, of course, your eyes, because being in your blood, this tint is gonna tint your eyes as well. I've seen with my research that you will get the symptoms of Gilbert syndrome being really worsened if you're exercising too harsh. So I do remember at some point I was doing this really harsh diet. I was going to the gym, I was going elliptical like crazy for 1 hour, and I would get the eyes like popping yellow. If you don't sleep as well, oh my god, I do remember a night not long ago, I was getting results from uni the morning after and I could not sleep because I was so stressed out about it. Finally I had like distinctions, but whatever, I was just so stressed. So I was in my bed trying to sleep, 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 4 a.m, 5 a.m, and I realized I can't sleep. I slept like 1 or 2 hours and I woke up and it was the worst, like the worst. And it's actually because when you're sleeping, the more you're sleeping and the more your brain is gonna get this rest and help your body really detoxify as well. Of course, if you're not sleeping, for someone with Gilbert syndrome, at least 7-8 hours a night. And for me, it's a thing, like 8 hours, not less. Otherwise, it's not working. You're constantly dehydrated because of Gilbert syndrome. So you're gonna need more water than anyone does, knowing that the normal person generally needs 1.5 liters of water per day, which is huge when you're not a big water drinker and you find out about it. You actually need so much water if you have Gilbert syndrome. So as a girl as well, a normal girl, it's 2 liters of water per day. A normal girl with Gilbert syndrome will need 4 liters, 3 liters, 4 liters. If you can drink more, it's even better. I know it's so hard, but you just need to get the habit of always have like a cup of hot water with me when I'm home. You're really gonna need a lot of hot water to make sure you evacuate everything that is staying in your body. That's it. And then I always have my bottle. I work, I just do that all day. I finish my bottle, I go get more water, I come back and I go. You're gonna go wee-wee your whole life, but this is what it is. Where you feel dehydrated, so your skin is a bit more dry than other people. Your eyes are a bit more dry than other people as well. This is the hardest part, because then if you're dehydrated like a lot, it's gonna trigger. That could also be menstruation for girls, unfortunately. I do remember it was the worst when I was young. When I found out that every time I had my period, it was actually getting so much worse. Then I went to the doctor, asked him to prescribe me like these pills when you don't get your period. So that's the thing you can do as well for Gilbert syndrome. If you're being sick, so if you have a flu or a cold, you're definitely gonna feel the effects. It's really gonna trigger all of your symptoms. Of course, it is stated that being stressed is gonna trigger your symptoms as well. But I don't really think this is a thing. I think it's more Gilbert syndrome creating the stress. If you had a surgery, you will find out that it will trigger your symptoms as well. So it's a thing maybe to watch out. If you know you're gonna get a surgery soon, then you know it's gonna get so much worse afterwards. Another trigger of Gilbert syndrome will be not having enough food. You know, when you're trying to make these really harsh diets and you think it's okay to starve, well, it is not something that you can do with Gilbert syndrome, because the more you're gonna starve and the worse it's gonna get. So instead of having the 3 meals that you're supposed to have within your day, the only thing you can really do is get spreading in your meals, like 5 or 6 Leo meals per day. It's so hard. It's a lot of preparation, a lot of organization to have, and I never said it was easy. In your back when you're going to work, so having a bigger fruit, so like coconut yogurt, things like this, to make like a little meal in between. And then, I don't know, for breakfast, like a bit of like half an avocado with 1 egg, and then you have another little meal. It's gonna trigger symptoms like your eyes getting a bit yellowish. Oh, another thing, now that I'm talking a lot, you know how you get dehydrated, your eyes get dehydrated as well, your throat as well gets so dehydrated. But symptoms: feeling sick, feeling really tired as well. People always say you're lazy, but you're not. People often, I found on forums, are really like mean when they find out you're trying to complain about it. People want to say that you're a lazy person, but you're not. You're just being tired because of Gilbert syndrome. I found out that people in general, they get kind of upset because they think you're complaining because you're trying to find an excuse to be lazy. But you're so not doing that. You just want to complain about your situation because it's hard and you want a treatment, and this is what we all want, you know. And I understand that. I feel that so much, especially with the doctors, when they think you're trying to find a reason to be anxious, you're trying to find a reason why you're tired by saying it's because of Gilbert's, and they generally tell you that Gilbert syndrome doesn't include any symptom. Funniest thing ever. Anyway, so yeah, they're gonna tell you nothing is wrong with you, and it's just a test, and you just need to go and have a rest and sleep better and eat better. A lot of people among us are trying to do so much more, handling a family life, handling work, handling household, handling studies. I mean, I've been handling household, studies, and work all in the same time, and it's been fine. It's been great. I've been getting awesome results at uni, but it is hard when you have Gilbert syndrome because of all of these symptoms. Loss of appetite sometimes, because people can feel so sick. And as I told you, when I used to throw up, and it was actually because of milk, well, I didn't want to eat no more because I didn't want to throw up anymore. You really feel like you're sick, like you're dizzy, you feel unwell, you feel tired. And another symptom that has been found out on a lot of people is the fact of feeling headaches all the time, and really feeling this foggy kind of brain feeling. Of course, due to dehydration, your skin on your face, for example, trying to fight that dryness into creating more sebum, and then you're gonna get acne. So that's actually one of the symptoms given by Gilbert syndrome, acne. It's not written anywhere and your doctors won't tell you about it, but after the research I've done, I can say that it's caused, it's linked, and also due to the fact that in our bad elimination within the liver, some hormones are not going to be eliminated properly, so you're going to have this hormonal unbalance, which is also the reason why in Gilbert syndrome, when you get your menstruation, it's going to trigger the symptoms. Also going to affect your vitamin intake, because there is this link as well with the bile that has been found out that in Gilbert syndrome we secrete a bit less bile, so less detoxification. So you want to go do the reverse and really get this bile to work more. We're not gonna be able to process the vitamins as well as normal people, so we're gonna need to have a lot of supplements every day to make sure we're going okay, because the doctors don't want to look at it, but you really need to look at your vitamin D, vitamin B12. The vitamin B's in general are going to be really hard to process for us. So you will find out that there will be kind of a deficiency or really low level in these vitamins. Yeah, that's my case, for example. So I take these supplements every day. But there's also the fact that if your doctor doesn't check your B12, it could say that you have Gilbert syndrome when you actually have a B12 deficiency, which is treated with another way and gives kind of the same symptoms as well. For the cause, of course, it is genetic. So you can get a genetic test to make sure it's Gilbert syndrome. I think there's a data box test from what I saw, and there's another test which is a blood test in which you can find out about Gilbert syndrome as well. But yeah, definitely I saw on some websites people wondering if I don't know if I can say that, it's so awkward, but I saw on some website people wondering if you could get Gilbert syndrome by kissing on the mouth. No. So your parents have an allele in their DNA that is carrying Gilbert syndrome. However, if they only have one allele and not the two of them together, they're not gonna have Gilbert syndrome, they're not gonna have the symptoms either. So that's why when I was young, I was wondering, I was like, why me? My parents have nothing, they're completely normal, my sister has the widest eyes. But yeah, you just have to be completely unlucky and get these two alleles together to get it. And they're jackpot. Gilbert syndrome and the bilirubin getting higher and higher in their level. It's a toxic. You can see everywhere on the websites. If you have a look at infant jaundice, so babies generally, when they're just born, they're gonna have like the size of the recipient that helps detoxifying and get the unconjugated bilirubin in conjugated. It's gonna be super small, like as small as we have it with Gilbert syndrome, right? They say in the website about perinatal jaundice. They say that it's really bad for the baby because having too much bilirubin in the body is really bad for the organs, it's really bad for your brain because it's so much toxic going on in your body, and that it affects your brain, so it's gonna make you more anxious, it's gonna make you depressed as well. They could have a lot of bad impacts. There's also this research that have seen that people with schizophrenia were touched by Gilbert syndrome. So I think that's something research need to think about, and I think they should, instead of saying that we have nothing, that we don't have symptoms, that it's okay, and then on another website with babies say that it's really harmful, and then on another website with another thing say that jaundice is so harmful for your health. just tell us the truth, that you just don't have a treatment yet and that you don't care, because apparently we're not gonna die from it. Symptoms are real and we're suffering from it every day. What I would like is this channel to have so much videos about what I do in my day to try to treat it. So what kind of supplements do I take, because there's a lot of them that I found out with research are really helping. What kind of diet you can have with Gilbert syndrome to try to help it. So how regularly, what kind of food you can have, what kind of things you can't do, or how to do them in a better way. I really want to do a lot of these videos to really help people out there that have Gilbert syndrome as well, and that have a doctor. Like, I'm just gonna say a doctor because they all don't care, right? Except if maybe one of them miraculously have Gilbert syndrome, I think it's gonna help you. But if he doesn't, he's not gonna care. I also want it to be an exchange, so I want you to comment a lot on your experience. I want your experiences basically, because I want to share them. I want to show people that, yeah, we have symptoms and it's really bad and we need a treatment. I want people as well to share what they found out to help them getting through Gilbert syndrome, so that we can all share it together. So I think that could be a good idea. You will have a new video soon with how to treat it, a video with what kind of supplements you want to take, and yeah, basically just subscribe and you will find a new video soon. Please comment your experience and what you do to help you out with Gilbert syndrome. Now I'm gonna drink 2 liters of water because I'm so dehydrated.